amazing episode of Bitcoin Live on the Sunday, the third one in a row. And today with us is the CEO of Xspectar, Dirk Schepens. Welcome to Bitcoin Live.
Welcome, Dirk.
Always a pleasure.
It's good to have you back. A lot has happened with Xspectar. Looks terrific, very refined, and you're now also working with Ordinals. I mean, where to start, Dirk?
Well, we have done quite a lot. I think it's important that there are some major changes, not to the community, but from the back end. And we have onboarded, of course, Mr. Bob Way. Bob was a NASA software engineer in the 80s. Afterwards, he was a 10th employee at Ripple. And he has some experience with software. So very interesting and really nice to have him. We were able to bring him back from his retirement. And then, of course, we have Neil, our CTO, who is building FuelStack. FuelStack is actually the backend platform that runs the native marketplace, integrating multiple wallets, multiple chains. We always promoted a multi-chain approach. So at this stage, we have some wallet integrated, main wallet on the XRP ledger. We have Hashback wallet, main wallet on HBAR, and then in the next few weeks we will have MetaMask activated as well. We will be able to accept payments for land sales in XRP, of course, in Xspectar, in HBAR, Flare, XDC, and after we will expand to more EVM chains. Something else that has come up, of course, is our approach to the Genesis chain, Bitcoin, which you guys like, and we have been looking into the ordinal space and bitmaps, because bitmap specifically is quite a metaverse, specifically metaverse oriented. So we were able to purchase a decent number of bitmaps, and we are going to create Bitmap Island within our Xspectarverse. And all of that is coming really, really soon. Neil won, by the way, for development of the backend platform. He recently won a hackathon at Consensus by XDC community, 50K US grant. And we will be talking about that 25 and 26th of August in Austin at the on XDC conference as well.
Crazy.
That's a lot of news and a lot of updates on your awesome project, I should say, Dirk.
Congratulations.
Congratulations to Xspectar, of course, and the community. And it's awesome for us as Bitcoin Live DB to see the bitmaps included in the Xspectarverse.
I think Jan is maybe your biggest fan.
I'm very happy. We have lots of big supporters. I think that initially, of course, approaching new communities is always a little bit strange. It's starting from scratch. The people don't necessarily know us. Everybody's always a little bit weary. But I think with everything we have done and with our track record and the team that we have, we are all set, and I think that should give confidence. So regarding the bitmap stuff, more announcements very, very soon. There's still a lot of things to discover, but I think that making that approach, expanding to other chains seems relatively easy. However, it's not. We have tribalist, maximalist, and whatever. So initially looking at HBAR, XDC, Flare, all communities closely related to the XRP community. I think that was probably the most natural thing to do. We were looking at integrating, or we are still looking at integrating other chains. We are in very close contact with Avalanche, Algorand. However, of course, we want to play with the big boys, and then we have a few options. Polygon, of course, Solana maybe, but definitely ETH and Bitcoin, since the volume on Ordinals is impressive. ETH people tend not really to like XRP Army too much. However, I think that will change. I think that the win in the Ripple SEC case is a big win for crypto in general, and we have had lots of positive feedback from the ETH community as well. But going to the ordinal space was probably made the most sense, and I have to thank everyone in there because they were very welcoming, and I think it's a space where builders and developers from all kinds of chains are gathering, experienced people, and they're all very welcoming, and I think that it's probably for me it's the most interesting thing that we have done, because it's really getting to know new people, and again it's super interesting, and all those different perspectives and opinions and possibilities and opportunities. So really excited. The footage that you're seeing now, by the way, is a walkthrough of our first version of Bitmap Island. It's of course built in Unreal Engine. My developers absolutely begged me not to release this, but I think that it's not the end quality. It takes hours and hours rendering. We actually started developing this less than 14 days ago.
Wow.
So yeah, to give you an idea.
Wow.
But yeah,
What
I
love
think that showing the process of creating everything is also part of the journey. And it's interesting because what I realized, and something that I didn't know myself actually a little over a year ago, is that how much time and effort it takes to actually develop a product. And people always ask me, when is it ready? When is it ready? Well, I'll give the answer that my developers give me. It's ready when it's ready. So therefore, I'm very, very careful with timelines and roadmaps. But we onboarded a team of 7 extra blockchain developers working on Neil's platform to integrate more chains. We will have our native marketplace, of course, is up and running at xspectar.com. We will launch that as a standalone marketplace, a standalone NFT marketplace, also in the next few weeks. Initially focused on the XRPL, but as we expand and integrate multiple chains, it will be an NFT market, a multi-chain NFT marketplace. It will be at xspectar.market. Still nothing to see there, but you can always make sure that you keep an eye on it.
Yeah, what I really love about not only your project, Dirk, but also about you, the CEO, is that you come from a sort of building background before you came into the metaverse scene and the crypto scene. But you always connect to different communities, to different people, and now to different chains. So in that way, you're still a builder, and in the other way, you're always building new communities and lines with people from across the space. And that's what I love personally about you, and why I've been a fan of your product, but also of you as a CEO, and gives me lots of confidence that you can pull this off, because we know it's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work, and I always say to everybody that wants to hear it, either in 5 years, we will be people will think we were geniuses now, not necessarily me, but the team, or you can probably find me in a mental institution.
We'll join you there.
We'll join you.
Yeah, we'll join you there.
50-50 chance, you know.
I'll come visit.
Yeah.
The crypto is like that, but it's really impressive what you have built, and of course this is the period to build. It has been a rough ride so far. You mentioned the case of Ripple and XRP. Can you tell us a little bit more about how do you view that and where do you see that go?
Well, I've always said with my legal background that I think it would be very unfair if Ripple loses. There is an if and a but, of course. XRP has been declared not being a security if it's sold on exchanges, secondary market sales, for as far as I understand it. However, a non-security token can be sold as a security if it's in the form of an investment contract. I think that's the main thing that we know at this stage. My best guess from a legal perspective is that the SEC will appeal. It will give them more leverage. However, if they file for an appeal, and I think they have 60 days or something, I think that in the meantime, that doesn't avoid Ripple and the SEC negotiating. So my best possible outcome is that while they file for appeal, that Ripple negotiates with the SEC. Maybe they come to an agreement to pay a fine, which will be probably quite high, for the investment contracts that they would have sold. And I think that that could settle the case. I think if Ripple pays a fine, that is probably the biggest fine that will ever be paid to the SEC, that one of the conditions will be that the SEC doesn't appeal or drops the appeal that regarding the secondary market sales. And that means at this stage that XRP is the only cryptocurrency, and we can discuss about that together with Bitcoin probably. Ethereum is another story, but that has legal clarity at this stage for now, at least. So interesting. I think it's a big win for crypto in general. I think it's a wake-up call for legislators to create a legal framework. I think that everybody that's building serious projects is absolutely on the demanding side or at the ask side to get clear rules that stimulate innovation and technology, but that are also workable, because lots of people think, well, we have a legal opinion that it's not a security by a big law firm. Well, yeah, it's an opinion, it's just an opinion. And lots of people think, well, we are incorporated somewhere offshore or in Dubai or in Singapore, and everything's okay. Well, it's not. As soon as you sell NFTs or tokens to US citizens, you have to comply with US law. So let's hope that this is the start of an interesting, positive journey for everybody in this world.
The market reacted very positively so far.
I will take a look. Yeah, well, we're at 77, 78 cents. I think that we will possibly have another upward trend in the next few weeks, depending on what the SEC will do. I'm not a trader. I'm not an analyst. My best guess is somewhere $1.2 in the next few weeks.
And of course, to all the viewers, this is not financial advice. Always do your own research.
It's just our opinion. But I agree with you, Dirk. I love Bitcoin for what it stands for, but I have always been a utility guy. So that was a nice discussion between two brothers. So I always told Nick, get some XRP while it's still cheap.
I did listen.
a little. But I think XRP will be there for the long run. And now it has a unique position. So it's not financial advice, but I personally hold some XRP.
So why the ordinals? Oh, sorry, go on.
Sorry, no, I think you should spread. But again, not a trader, so everybody should do their own research. Yeah. I think there are lots of currencies and coins that all have their use case, and Ripple has created the XRP and then the XRP ledger, and I think for instant transactions with low fees, it's really good. It's simple. It's easy to use. Other chains have possibly other advantages, and of course there is Big Brother Bitcoin. I have to admit, coming from the XRP ledger, my first transactions recently on Bitcoin, it was a little bit of a shock because it seems to take forever. On the ledger it's like 3 to 8 seconds, and the fees are 0.0000015 XRP. So it's different, but I again, it's about the community, and what you said, I do like the whole philosophy about Bitcoin. I do think that we should try to approach as much decentralization as possible. However, I do not agree with some people that complete decentralization. Well, it sounds really nice, but it's probably utopia. Yeah. There will be some compliance to do, and I think as a as a company, which we are, that we do not want to depend on one blockchain. There will be some that are successful, there will be some that fail, and I do not want to go rogue and not be compliant with the government agencies and legislation, because that would be a threat to our existence and to our community as well.
Understand.
Yeah, understandable. Yeah.
You invest a lot of time, energy, and also money in a project, so you don't want to put it all at risk. So that makes perfect sense. And then also, right, you also want efficiency, like you say. XRP is much faster than Bitcoin.
Yeah, and then an overall statement maybe, but I think that the way people used to talk about different chains, that XRP is better or Bitcoin is better, or those sort of storms and differences that got by maxis got blown up, and then people couldn't work together on different chains or different projects. In my personal opinion, it's kind of stupid, but I like people that.
Well, every chain, sorry, has its use case, and
Yeah.
and it's so there are so many smart, intelligent people and developers, and it's like it's a shame not to work together, because
Yeah.
that was my intent with the Ripple case, and especially after Coinbase and Binance got into trouble as well in the United States. That was for me the opportunity to unite crypto. And again, with Neil's platform, multiple chains, interoperability, some fashion word that lots of Web3 people like. We will have actually the possibility of porting NFTs from one chain to another through a burn and reissue mechanism. So we think that if you own something as an NFT within, for example, the metaverse, and somebody else wants to buy it, regardless from what chain they come, that should be a possibility as well. And as long as the issuer agrees on that and has wallets on multiple chains, that shouldn't be a problem. So that's a cool thing. And what Bob is building as well, we finally, well, we were looking for the right term of what we are actually creating, because a metaverse can be about anything. And we came up with the term the social and immersive internet. Social because it's multiplayer, it's in groups, you go there with your friends, and it's interacting, human centered and focused. And then of course immersive because it's a 3D virtual environments. And actually how Bob is building it is the architecture of the World Wide Web. So I think that we're laying the foundations possibly of the social and immersive internet. And it's actually fully distributed. We see it, to explain it in layman terms, Neil's platform is the backend platform to facilitate transactions and payments, ownership, identity, and that's actually the Visa or the MasterCard, but again, peer-to-peer instant transactions. Then we have the Xspectarverse, the discovery area that you can compare to a search engine, where a virtual world where you land and where you discover other structures that are in there. And those structures actually are 3D websites. You guys could have a 3D building in there where you gather your community, where you educate people, where you do what you're doing now in 3D. And hopefully lots of people do that and bring their own following, because it's about the people, and people like you guys will bring other people. We realized that building a closed world, well, to do that, you need GTA budgets and time. And I don't think it makes sense building it as the internet, where people can go from one server to another server. You guys can, for example, run your virtual environment on your own server. People walk through the Xspectarverse, they go to the entrance door, and they jump to another server. Lots of advantages, scalability, limitless scalable. And of course, for legal reasons, if people want to do something inside their buildings, gambling and or other crazy stuff, I am happy to facilitate or cater them. However, I do not want to take any legal responsibility. So if somebody builds crazy stuff, well, as long as they're legally compliant with what they do, I don't really care. If you go to Google and you come to some crazy website, well, Google is not responsible for what's on that website. So exactly the same principle. So the 3D internet, the search engine, and the payment platform. It's quite ambitious, no?
Yeah, that's very
Absolutely.
impressive.
And smart. And a strange question, but could you tell us a little bit more about the background of Bob? Because he's really
quite
sort
a
of
figure.
quite a figure that you got there.
Well, Bob was, again, he worked at NASA as a software engineer. He was already working on virtual environments and 3D modeling in the 80s. He had some other things in between, and then he ended up doing lots of research about Bitcoin. Actually, he was one of the people that actually was in contact in chat groups with Satoshi, and they had quite a few discussions, and that's actually how he got onboarded to Ripple as employee number 10. And he did some amazing work over there. Initially sleeping on David Schwartz's couch when he moved to San Francisco. After a couple of years, I think he started over there somewhere 2011, 12, 13. I'm not exactly sure. And he left a couple of years ago for personal reasons, and after he retired, and we were able to bring him back. Initially, we wanted him on board as a blockchain advisor. However, soon it became very clear that he was mostly interested in the metaverse concept. But again, completely different, like most other metaverses approach it. And I think that I had to make some changes, mind changes as well, because I also come from a corporate background and I saw it as a more closed environment. But putting the people at center and building tools where they can easily create their own stuff, it makes perfect sense. Next time we should invite him and ask him to explain his vision. I think he's probably better in it than I am. But the whole concept is like, if it works, it's really, really good, really good. I have lots of confidence, and what Neil is building, exactly the same. And those two combined are so powerful. I don't think that it's a metaverse that we're building. I think that it's a metaverse operating system, and the 3D virtual environments and Xspectar community are the big shiny marketing vehicle that can attract people. But we have to attract the right people, not only our crypto bro friends, but also 3D modelers. We have a creator contest, by the way, that's still up and running, $25,000 in prizes. So everybody that knows about 3D modeling, they can participate. Afterwards, we have, of course, the winners that get their prize money, but everybody that creates cool stuff can later NFT it and sell it to people in the metaverse. So it's about creating a system where you're not solely depending on the platform, YouTube, for example, for monetization, or other social media. It's a platform where people, creators or educators can get in direct contact with their community and receive payments. And it's not about empowering people, it's about giving people the possibility to empower themselves.
People should follow Xspectar because they list it all in their thread, and there's amazing prizes and giveaways that you're doing, quite mind-blowing stuff actually. And you're sort of mentioning the other metaverses. You also get people like Neil Stephenson, one of the famous science fiction writers, involved, and he's I think busy with the open metaverse ID. Are you also sort of thinking of sort of collaborating with these sort of different initiatives later on? Or
actually, with how we are building it, everybody can do whatever they want. So our open world and home world is a world that is curated by us and hosted by us. People can ask if we want to host their stuff as well. However, you can also run it on your own server. I think that having a building in there early is like being on the number one spot in the search engine and get the most attention. So actually, within the structure that you have in the metaverse, you can build whatever you want. And therefore, we are reaching out to lots of interesting people and developers. I think that people can build their own mini games, their own businesses, their own private spaces, and whatever you can think of. And it's mostly those people that we have to focus on, again, because they will bring their following. They will entertain and create stuff that is interesting for other people to come. One of the companies that we have been in good contact with since the XRP Vegas conference early May is Joe Endoso. Joe Endoso is CEO of Link2. Link2, a company in California that sells private equity to accredited investors worldwide. You don't have to comply with accredited investor status in the US. If you comply with it in your own country, you can purchase equity in, amongst others, Ripple, but also Uphold, Epic Games, and so on, Polysign, lots of cool tech companies. And they actually really like the concept that we are creating. And they are planning to open a virtual branch of their offices in the metaverse to bring their accredited investors to the Xspectarverse, which is an interesting first start. We have a business development manager that will kick in full force in the next few weeks as well. And we will be announcing some partnerships with brands and companies to create experiences. But I think that the main focus should be the people.
Congratulations on that too. Wow.
I will think about this, Dirk.
So another question, why the ordinals? I mean, I got an idea why, but why that focus there?
Well, again, expansion, multi-chain, which chains? Well, most of the chains closely related to the XRPL, they already know us. They are already landowners or NFT holders. And of course, we noticed the volume on Ordinals and BTC chain. So we saw an opportunity, but we didn't really know exactly how to approach. So one of our friends building on HBAR patches from Hashgraph.io, he is well into the Ordinal space. He's a software engineer leading a team of 18 people, I guess, in the US. And we started talking after a Twitter Spaces with Genfinity, and we were like, well, there is a movement within the Ordinal space that is called Bitmaps, and it's like really metaverse focused. So you really should look into that. And as soon as we did, we start reaching out to people in that community, and we were so welcome that we thought, well, we have to do something with it. So Bitmap has about 800,000 blocks. We were able to jump in 24 hours before blockout, and we purchased 3,552 blocks, which, we play with the 8 in our whole storyline. So it's actually 4 times 888 that we were able to purchase, I think at somewhere around $2. It was sold out in a matter of days, weeks. And now I think that the floor is about $10. However, what we will do is we connect each and every one bitmap that we are holding to a specific parcel in Bitmap Island. So we're creating an island dedicated as an exclusive space for people coming from the Ordinals and Bitmap space, where it will be a separate server where people can start building and creating. This is an example of the walkthrough. We have posted quite a few pictures and screenshots as well. In the next week, I think we will announce exactly what our plans are, how we are seeing it, how we are intending to bring people in, if we are selling, and how. I can say that it will be a unique approach, and it will be a fully fair mint.
Cool. Wow. Okay, Dirk, you already did so much since our last show. I think it was maybe 4 weeks ago or something. that we had you on? I don't remember
It's
exactly.
a little bit, I don't know, it's a couple of months ago.
Yeah, I
guess.
think it's longer. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well, this space moves so fast; it's difficult.
flies.
For Jan, it's like it's like yesterday. But but you have been working really hard, and we love to have you back on the show as soon as there's new developments. Well, maybe not that soon because there's new developments all the time, but as soon as possible.
Yeah,
because
you're always welcome on the show, Dirk. Every time you want to come on, just give us a shout.
You guys are very, very kind. And again, if it seems like everybody in the Bitcoin space is warm and welcoming, so I hope your audience likes what we're doing. I would strongly suggest to give us a follow on Twitter and jump into our Discord. And again, we're just keep an eye on us. Join the community, speak with our community members, and maybe together we will be able to create something very, very interesting.
And we'll look into those buildings. That's very interesting.
We should have our own Bitcoinlive DB building on the bitmaps. Yeah.
So Dirk, thank you again for being on and giving us this update. And we hope to see you soon. And we wish you all the best with the developments and with XRP, of course.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.